Hey everyone! While it may only take 4 simple pantry ingredients to make, homemade pasta can even intimidate the most experienced cooks. But today I'm going to show you a clever new method of making pasta, and we're going to leave the old school version of making pasta behind. The old school method is the well method, where you build the flour up and then you add the wet ingredients into the center and you use a fork to kind of mix it all together. Inevitably, the well breaks, the eggs kind of scatter, and it's kind of a mess and a pain in the butt to do. But the food processor method, which I'm going to show you today, is really simple to do. I have 2 cups of flour here, and I'm using a type of flour called 00 flour. That is a finely ground Italian flour, and if you find this in a specialty store, look and see on the label if it says pasta flour, because that's what you want. And that protein range is a little higher, around 10 to 12%, which is really great for pasta. Now, if you can't find this flour, you can certainly use all-purpose flour. It's just going to be a little chewier, your pasta dough, so be aware of that, but you can certainly substitute it. So 2 cups of flour, a hefty pinch of fine sea salt here so that there's no granular texture within your pasta dough, and now 3 eggs. I'm going to crack my eggs on a flat surface, not on the side of the bowl. If you crack them on the side of the bowl, the shell kind of goes up into the egg and you have to fish it out. So 3 whole eggs right into the food processor here, and a scant tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. This pasta dough recipe uses whole eggs. There are lots of different versions and variations of pasta dough. Some really rich and tender pasta doughs use only egg yolks, but use a lot of them. This is a great all-purpose pasta dough that's sturdy, but also wonderfully tender as well. So you really want to process this up until it forms a semi-cohesive ball. If it's a little tacky, make sure that you spread enough bench flour onto your surface so that it doesn't stick to your surface. And if it's too dry, you can always add a teeny bit more olive oil until it does become a cohesive dough. That was so easy. It came together in like 30 seconds. Now the food processor really starts the process of kneading. That hard work that the blade is doing starts developing the gluten in the pasta dough, which gives you the texture that you're looking for. But when I talk about kneading and doing it by hand, what it is basically pulling over the far side of the dough with your palm and then pushing it together and away from you. So I'm going to do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. So the dough is no longer tacky, it's elastic, and I'm just going to form it into a ball. And if you move the dough to a surface that's not slippery, sticky, or coated in flour, you should be able to roll the dough, pushing down on the dough with the palms of your hand while rotating your hands. And you should end up with a nice round ball just like that. Wrap this in some plastic wrap. This sits out at room temperature for about an hour, or you could rest it in your refrigerator up to overnight. We have our dough here and it needs to rest about an hour. I have another one that I've already made, and you can see as it sits, it really starts to soften. So I'm going to take about 1/4 of the dough here to start with and keep the other pieces well wrapped, because pasta dough will really dry out. If you are using a method where you're refrigerating your dough overnight and using it the next day, bring it to room temperature before you do this. You could roll this out by hand with a rolling pin. There are other devices out there in the marketplace where you can attach it to your work surface and hand crank it yourself. I love the attachments that fit on the stand mixers here. It really makes easy work out of this job here. So I'm flattening my pasta dough just like this, have the setting at the widest, which is technically the lowest number. So this is on setting number 1. Turn your speed to very low. And I'm flattening out the dough so that it will fit easily through the thickest setting on the attachment. So once you pass the dough through the first time, what you should do, and this is a little trick here, to get your pasta to turn out in nice long rectangular sheets, if you're using this for lasagna or something like that, fold it into thirds so that the tapered ends come into the center. So you're creating more of a rectangular shape here, and now you can pass your pasta dough through your attachment and it will keep somewhat of a rectangular shape. So I recommend that you pass the dough through the same setting twice before reducing the setting down to a thinner setting. I'm on the second to last setting here, and I think that this is a good size for any of the pastas like spaghetti or linguine or fettuccine. Now, if you were doing a double layer pasta, and that's like a ravioli, you want to go to the thinnest setting on your attachment here so that the pasta isn't too toothy when you serve it to your guests. So if your pasta gets a little too long, like it is right now, you can certainly cut it in half and pass it through the machine in a smaller sheet. But this looks good to me. And I'm going to make fettuccine today. And you can fold your pasta up a little bit here. Make sure that you use a little bit of flour so that it doesn't stick together, because as the pasta dough sits, it will start to stick. And now cut your pasta. Don't apply too much pressure because you don't want it to stick together on you. And gently fluff it up. In no time, you have fresh, homemade pasta that you can serve any night of the week. If you have any kitchen conundrums that you need solved, write in the comment section below or reach out to me using the hashtag kitchen conundrums, and I will solve whatever kitchen problems you may have. Enjoy.